Okay, so before we start drawing, I want to show you a couple samples of things that you might want to make today. Here is a beach picture with the waves and the sun. And you can see that each section has a different pattern in it. Here is some hills with a moon and a shooting star. And again, each section of my picture has a different pattern in it. You can even do something simple, just shapes like this. And then if you keep watching this video at the end, I do a couple of time-lapse videos of the cactus in the desert. And I do another one with this umbrella on this rainy day. So for this video, we're going to do a close-up of a flower. And so we're gonna start here in this corner, and we're gonna just do the middle of the flower here. So it's gonna be a partial flower, not a full flower. And then we're going to draw the petals expanding out this way, and then we'll do some leaves in the background. Okay, so you're going to start with your plain white paper, and you're just going to draw, oh, and I'm using a fat Sharpie for this one. So you're going to draw the middle of the flower, and if you want to, you can make several different sections of the flower just to make it a little more interesting. And then I'm going to draw the petals. So I'm going to start with little petals. And I'm going to just, when I get to the edge of my paper, stop so that it looks like the petal continues going. Do 1.5 more on this side. Okay. And now I'm going to do some bigger petals, and I want to start in the middle of this petal, and I'm going to make an arch up, and I'm going to end in the middle of this petal. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing here to here. It's going to disappear off the edge of the paper, so then I'm going to come over here to the center of this one and continue drawing. And I'm going to draw another petal right here as well. Then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to draw the petal from one to the other, and then the same thing, and it's going to disappear off the edge. Now, to add some more color to this picture, instead of doing another row of petals here, I'm going to add a couple of leaves. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to just start here, and I'm going to change the shape. Okay, and I can add that detail here. I don't want to add too much detail though, because I'm going to come back in here with a small Sharpie to add a pattern. And then let's add another leaf right here. And the same thing, I can add a couple little details, but I don't want to do too many. And then back here where I didn't draw any leaves, we can make that the sky. Okay. So after you're done with your thick Sharpie, you're going to take a fine tip Sharpie like this, and you're going to go through, and each section you're going to do a pattern. So I'm going to start here in the corner, and because it's such a teeny tiny space, I'm going to choose a teeny tiny pattern. So maybe just some stars. I'm just going to get a couple in there. And then I'm going to move on to the next section. So maybe for the next section, I want to do some hashtags. And you see it's a pattern. So I did straight up and down, and then a slanted one, straight up and down, slanted. And I can continue my pattern. Okay, so I'm gonna go on to the next section, and I think this one I wanna do a triangle pattern of regular triangles and upside down triangles. All the way to the edge so that it looks like you're just zooming in on this complete picture. And then I'm going to start on the petals. So for the first petal, I think I'm going to do wavy lines all the way across. Now you want to be really careful when you're doing this because you're using a marker. And if you don't have a Sharpie, that's fine. You can use a normal marker, black marker, or you can use a crayon even, or a colored pencil. You probably want to use a colored pencil or even a regular pen, a ballpoint pen for this inside, because the lines are supposed to be very crisp and nothing big, no big huge patterns. We want them to be really teeny tiny. So if you don't have a little Sharpie like this, you want to maybe use a ballpoint pen or a black colored pencil that's sharpened really well. Okay, so for the next petal, I'm gonna do stripes. And I kind of like that they are going up and down, and my flower is kind of set at a diagonal. So I think it makes your eye move around the paper more because your lines are going in all different directions. And at the beginning of the year when we were talking about elements of art, that was one of the things that we talked about with lines, is they're supposed to make your eyes move around the paper. And so if your lines are constantly going in different directions, then your eyes will do just that. Okay, so for this next section, I think I'm gonna do just bubbles or circles, and I'm gonna try and do them in a pattern shape, but sometimes I lose track of where I am. And you can see I'm making those little half circles because I want it to look like the pattern is still going on the other side of the petal. Okay, and if you make a little mistake like that right there, that's totally fine. It's not a problem. I'm gonna go back over it and color it, and you're probably not even gonna notice it at the end anyway. Okay, for my last little petal, I think I want to do, how about we do some chevrons or zigzags. And you can even, here I'm gonna do two patterns in one. So we're gonna do zigzag and then a straight line. And then I'm gonna do another zigzag pattern. And then a straight line underneath, okay? So then up here I would do my straight line and then I would do my zigzag. And that's still a pattern because it's still a line of zigzags and then a straight line, a line of zigzags and then a straight line. Okay, so for my bigger petals out here, I'm gonna choose maybe some bigger patterns because there's more space to fill. So I'm gonna start here and I'm gonna choose a spiral. And I'm just gonna make these spirals all different sizes. And I want them to cover the whole area, so I don't wanna leave any big white spaces. So like right here, I'm gonna go back and add a little mini one. So another mini one here, probably a little mini one there, maybe like a little partial one there, just because I want to fill the whole space. Here I'm gonna do like a checkerboard. So I'm gonna make diagonal lines going one way, and then I'm gonna come back this way and do diagonal lines the other way. Okay, so it's a little different than this one. It's still straight lines, but this one is actually has like a picnic or a checkerboard cloth pattern. And then I have this one here. So let's do, oh goodness. Okay, we'll do hearts on this one. I need to think of some more patterns here. My piece of paper is pretty small. It's maybe 5 inches by 5 inches. And the reason why I chose to do a small one instead of a big one is because the more complex your picture is, the more patterns you have to think of. And my brain is all out of patterns right now. I'm having to use all those patterns I've already used in my other pictures. Oh, how about this? Depending on if you are a girl, you are going to call this a mermaid pattern. If you are a boy, you could call it a dragon scale pattern. Or if you're a girl and you like dragons, then we can call it a dragon scale pattern too. You call it whatever you want. You just go from one middle of the hill or scale to the middle of the next one. And you just keep going. Oh goodness. I don't know if you can hear that, but it was just thundering outside. And Mrs. Ramirez does not like thunder. Oh. This is a great rainy day activity. All right, so you can tell this one takes a little bit more time. That's okay, because we're not in a hurry, right? Art is all about making it look the way you want it to look. I love that pattern. I think it fills the whole space great. And whether you want to call it mermaid scales or dragon scales or snake scales or fish scales, I think it looks really awesome. Okay, so we have one more petal down here. And I think I'm going to choose, how about circles, but that have another circle in the middle. So that way it's a little different than these. It's like a donut. Oh, a donut. I want a donut right now. How many of y'all want a donut right now? Me. Okay. I didn't even need to fit that many donuts in there, but okay. And so then we're going to move on to the two leaves. So for the leaves, how about we do in one leaf, in the little leaf, we're just going to do, I'm going to do just little polka dots. So I want to make sure that they're colored in black so that when I go over this with a crayon or color pencil, none of the color gets inside. So I want them fully black. Okay, and then for the last leaf, let's do, how about, I have a good one. We're gonna outline the edge of the leaf like this. So we're using curved lines. And I'm just gonna keep on going until I am out of space. Just add one more little line there. Okay. And I'm going to leave the sky in the background. I'm going to leave that blank because I am out of ideas. And also, it's not a very big space. So, all right, now comes for the fun part, the coloring. So I'm going to start here in the middle, and I have 3 different colors in the middle that I need. So I'm going to go with yellow, 2 different kinds of yellow, and an orange. So I'm going to choose these 3. And I think I'm going to do it just that way. I'm going to do the orange on the inside, and then like the yellow orange in the middle, and the yellow yellow on the outside. So I'll start with this very middle part. Do the orangish color. And then the orange yellow here in the middle. And then last, the yellow. So if you have lots of different colors of crayons or color pencils, then you can try and do your whole picture without reusing one color. But if you have like a box of 16 at home, and that's what you're using, then you are more than welcome to reuse colors over and over again. What I suggest though is that you don't put them right next to each other. So if you had to use 2 different colors of yellow, I would use one color here on the middle and then that same color out here on the edge so that the 2 colors that are the same are not touching. Okay, now my flower is going to be, I'm going to make it pink and purple because all of the other pictures I've made today have been using green and blue. So I'm going to use pinks and purples. So I'm just going to start coloring in each section of my flower petal. And I like to keep my crayon going one way whenever possible. So if I start coloring side to side, I'm gonna try and color side to side for the whole section. All right, next one. And oh, this is a good color. Nice and bright. Magenta. By the way, did you know that it is somebody's job to come up with the names of all of the different colors of crayons and color pencils? I don't know how one gets that job, but I think I would like to do that. This is called Orchid. All right. You can see the coloring part goes pretty quick because we don't have to worry about coloring all those different spaces, different colors. All right, the last little petal. This is a regular pink. There we go. All right, and so now we're going to work on the outside petals. So I have violet here. I'm going to do purple over here because I don't want it too close to this other purple. Ooh, this is really dark, almost like a navy blue, huh? Okay. There we go. Okay, and let's go raspberry. Perfect. Okay, now those are all my pinks and purples that I have, so I'm gonna have to start reusing them, which is fine. I just wanna make sure that they're nowhere near the first one. So this was bubblegum, that was this section right here, so I'm gonna make sure that I use my bubblegum color in a space that's not touching the first bubblegum. I think I will use that magenta color here. Oh, I am loving the way this is looking, boys and girls. I hope you are loving the way yours is looking. And if you're not, finish it up. You can give it to somebody as a present, and then you can make another one because they don't take that long to make. And if you have nobody to give it to for a present, save it, and you can give it to me when you see me, when we're back in school. All right, so I'm done with all my petals. So now I have 2 leaves that I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna choose 2 different colors of green. I've got yellow green here, nice and bright. Color in that section. And then I think I'm gonna use the darker green for the big leaf. So let me pull that out. This is pine green. Okay, and then all I have left to do is my little bit of sky but in the background. And I have another little sky spot down here too that I'm gonna need to color in, so I don't wanna forget that. So I'm gonna get my turquoise, and I'm gonna just start here before I forget, because I don't want any white spots on my paper. Okay, and then I'm gonna come back up here and fill in the rest of my background with that same color. Now, if you wanted to put a pattern in this section, you are more than welcome to. Okay, and then you are done. Look at that beautiful Zentangle art that we created. It didn't take very long. It just took some black crayons or markers and some beautiful colors here, and it is all done. All right, so I'm gonna add a couple more time-lapse videos of me doing the cactus and the rain scene with the umbrella, so you can see kind of how it's gonna look when you're all done. Okay, enjoy, have fun, and can't wait to see you guys when we're back in school. Bye.